The old well at the edge of the garden, which was used only for washing clothes, and in her case for bathing, and which therefore she considered an extension of the spaces that belonged to her, was the perfect place to dwell on those fantasies and to populate them with characters propelled by passion, wrongdoing, and guts. "Lata! Lata!" That call was part of this late afternoon event too, the sound of Tara's voice calling her from the veranda, making sure that she hadn't gone without her. The maiden went the way of the soapy bubbles, and Lata returned to being 11 years old again. "Enava Tara Baba." After all this time she still felt silly saying it. Baba. How could someone her own age be a baby? She picked up her tin bucket, the soap hidden beneath her washed underwear, and headed toward the house. Tara met her halfway down the path. "Can we go to that street again today?" she asked, linking arms with Lata. "Nay, Tara Baba, I'm going to get into trouble because of you." She said it because she wanted to put a check mark in her head after the word tried. After all, who could fault her for being an accomplice to Tara's misdemeanors if she had tried to dissuade her? It was one of the first English words she had learned at school. Try, and try again. The school principal still insisted that they chant this every morning, and though there were rumors that he sympathized with the people who wore red and marched with banners embroidered with the sickle and hammer on May Day, and that his job was a front for spreading a doctrine that encouraged his students to think themselves equal to the rich, and though all of that was considered dangerous and subversive, his message, and frankly his possibly clandestine life, resonated with Lata. She had resolved to follow her own interpretation of his creed. She might get it wrong, and she might get into trouble, but by God she would try to be better than she was. Next to her, Tara giggled happily. It was time for the flowers. The flowers they picked from other people's gardens were various, and arranging them was Lata's specialty. She liked to get an assortment, but favored the pastels. Rings of white Vathusuda, studded here and there with small-petaled yolk-yellow Aralia, her favorite flower. Sometimes a small sprig of ixora for a splash of red, even though the plant was considered poisonous to the mind by some who sounded like they knew these things. Soma, the old servant, for instance, with her faded clothes and neatly whittled hands that carried vegetables like pliant but precious gems, testing their firmness with the press of concave fingernails. Every now and again, if she was lucky, a fresh, new-blooming gardenia that needed nothing else. Its perfume, its satin skin, its very existence enough of a reminder of highs and lows, being and death. But lately it wasn't the flowers that Tara was after. It was the boy. The boy lived on the street that paralleled theirs, within the same Colombo 7 neighborhood. Tara had explained it all to Lata one day, checking off the necessary requirements on the fingers of one hand. Race, religion, caste, school, looks. Of these, Tara cared about the last 2. The other 3 were for her parents' benefit. Of course, the right address was the icing on the cake. Colombo 7 is best. Next is Colombo 3, Colpetti. After that, well, Colombo 5, and then maybe, if everything else is absolutely perfect, even the money, then Colombo 6. Nothing else. Amma would never tolerate it, so why bother? Right? Right, Lata? Why bother? Might as well stick with the known crowd. I'd never go for a marriage proposal, so might as well bring home someone they can stand. What if the marriage proposal is better? Lata had asked. How can it be? If they could find someone by themselves, would they ask a Kapua to do the work for them? No. Only uglets with cowcatcher teeth come calling with their mothers.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.